Hi, and thanks for joining Chef Evan Presents Dining During a Pandemic. When we first got to this apartment, I made a New Orleans dish in honor of the New Orleans Jazz Festival, which was sadly canceled during the pandemic. Postponed, canceled, I don't know. Anyway, the dish was called Maque, which is a corn and shrimp stew. It's a traditional New Orleans dish. It's spelled M-A-Q-U-E-C-H-O-U-X. Now, we posted pictures of it, even a little video of me cooking it, and a lot of my friends were curious about this dish. So I thought I'd make it again, but then when I was shopping yesterday, I decided I was going to localize it a little bit, and I'm going to give it more of a curry essence. So it's still going to be a shrimp and corn stew, but I'm going to add a little curry and do a few little tricks. My cooking styles are greatly influenced by New Orleans cuisine and by Southeast Asian cuisine. In fact, when I was in culinary school, I did my internship with the late, great Chef Paul Prudhomme, who put New Orleans food on the map. I also want to note, before I start my prep work here, I mentioned when we did our salad last week that I really like this pre-cooked corn and the pre-cooked beets. And I just want to say the purist chef in me normally doesn't use pre-cooked anything. But when you're using a knife like this in this kitchen and you're really trying not to make too much of a mess, the pre-cooked stuff really helps. Anyway, at our local grocery store, they sell this really amazing corn on the cob. And I want to show you real quick just how to take the corn off the cob in case you don't know. So you just hold it like this, keep being careful of your fingers. And you just run your knife down. You find where the kernels end and you give it a twist. And it's basically just 4 nice even cuts. My lovely wife, Marcy, has said that she likes the corn in little bits like this in the salad. We've taken to calling them clusters, although with the pandemic, it's a little bit weird to call something a cluster, but so just break it up like this. And this is very sweet and very delicious. So we'll do that in a second. Now, in a minute here, I'm going to show you how to make a shrimp stock that we're going to do really quickly. But for the shrimp stock, in this case, that knife is terrible. I'm also going to add a little corn husk. This is going to do 2 things. It's going to impart a sweetness from the corn, and it's also a little bit starchy, so it'll thicken it up a little bit. Here in my pan, I have a small knob of butter, and I'm putting some leeks in my Maque, which I haven't cut yet, but I cut the leek tops up for my stock. Now, the next thing I want to show you is how to clean a shrimp. These shrimp here, they sell at our local grocery store, and they are lovely. And if you didn't know this, shrimp heads carry a ton of flavor. So anytime I can buy head-on shrimp, I like to, because it adds for great flavor and it'll make a great sauce. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our pan over here, and you just rip, you give a little pinch, and you just rip the head off like that. And then you come down here and you peel gently from the bottom. And the shell really should just come off in one piece. It's not that hard. And when you get this much of it off, you go to the bottom and give a little squeeze at the booty, and it comes out. We'll drop that in our pan. And the very last step for cleaning the shrimp is the shrimp poops. The poop sac is here, the vein. So I like to devein all of my shrimp. And you just give it a nice gentle cut. And then I usually hold it underwater, but I'm going to do this here so I can show you. That there's the part you remove. And again, if you just do it under the water, it's really easy. And for the purpose of the Maque, just so the shrimp cooks a little quicker, I'm actually going to cut it in half. So there's that. And so I'm going to get the rest of these shrimp ready, and we'll see you in just a minute. All right, so we're getting our prep work done. I wanted to add one thing about the shrimp after I cleaned it. In many Chinese restaurants, you'll see what they call butterfly shrimp, and they kind of squish it in half like this, so it looks like a little butterfly. And that's what that means, but I cut it in half just to increase my cooking time, just for fun. So, just wanted to add that in there. I also wanted to add that my 2 favorite flavors, or the styles that I generally cook with, are New Orleans, and I have a deep, deep love for Southeast Asian cuisine, which is where I am today, and which is why I've decided to give this a Southeast Asian flair. Of course, I was trained by the French, so I do have French technique oozing for me, and I just can't get rid of it. Now, a little trick to cooking on an electric stove that I like to use is, because everybody hates electric stoves, I turn the burners on different heats. So right now I have this back burner on maximum heat, and this front burner on about a 3rd heat. So I can move it back and forth as I need, because it takes very long for the pan to properly work. So what I have here is, I have some leeks that are going to go into our dish, already cut up. And I took the leek tops and threw them in with our stock. I also had some thyme leaves in the fridge that I threw in there. And we have, of course, our shrimp shells, shrimp heads, and corn cobs. And we're going to cook those till they get nice and orange, which they're starting to now. And then What we're going to do is a little crazy town today is I'm going to add a little bit of curry paste. And you can get something like this at your local market. It usually comes in a jar. Back at the States, my favorite brand is Maque. That's M-A-P-L-O-Y. But Thai Kitchen makes a decent one as well. And I'm going to add a little bit of curry paste to our stock to give it flavor. Probably about 2 tablespoons for this much, and then we'll taste it and adjust. So we're going to get that over on the high heat and start getting those curry aromatics sweating off. And normally I would like to cook a shrimp stock for about 45 minutes, but because we're in the light cooking zone of Singapore and nothing is as it seems right now, I'm really only going to cook this for maybe about 15 minutes. This has been sweating for about 5 minutes now. And I can smell that curry now, and I can smell the shrimp, and so being that I don't want a ton of shrimp stock and I want it as concentrated as can be, I'm only going to add a little bit of water. Because I'm not going to have the time to reduce that water down. So I want this to be as concentrated as possible. So I'm going to add just enough to cover the shrimp up. About that much, and I'm going to put it back there on the high heat until it comes to a boil. And then I'm going to move it to the low heat and simmer it for about 15 minutes. In case you guys weren't here last week when we started this thing, we are not allowed to cook with heavy smells in our kitchen. That's one of the house rules. So my loving wife and sous chef opens the windows and fans the smell as much as we can, and fans the husband, who's getting a little hot and sweaty here, watching his cute wife. And we also kick it old school with a towel under the door. Our shrimp stock is coming to a boil now, so I'm going to slide it over to the back burner, turn that burner off because we don't need it too hot. Give it a little stir, and again, we're going to cook this for about just about 10-15 minutes to try to get it real nice, as concentrated as we can in a short period of time. All right, so as you can see, this is cooked down a little bit. You can really tell by the color, although the curry paste added. But look at that, that's no longer water, is it? Let's taste it for heat. It's going to cut a little bit of heat, but nothing crazy. Roll with that though for a minute. Now if you were here last week, you'll see I like to cook in butter for the flavor of butter, but butter burns pretty easily, so just a little bit of vegetable oil will help stabilize that butter. So we're going to do that, and as I did last week, I added a little more than I actually want. That cranked up on high, this on low, and we're going to start off by sauteing our leeks. I never start with garlic because garlic burns pretty quickly. So we're going to cook these leeks for maybe 2 or 3 minutes until they're translucent in color, but not burnt. All right, these are starting to be close to translucent. They're actually starting to brown a little bit. I just want to say it's very hard to control your temperature when you are dealing with an electric stove. Now we're going to come over here to our shrimp and corn. The corn is cooked, so it really doesn't need too much time in there. The shrimp needs a little more time, but not too much. So we'll put that shrimp in. Hit that with just a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and you can see the shrimp starting to turn color immediately. Shrimp cooks very quickly. This really would only take about 2 minutes to cook if it was on its own. So right as it starts to turn color, we're going to add our corn. So it can also start heating up. Take on some of that shrimp flavor. Now the other things that we have over here in our pile is I got the bottoms of the green onions, so we'll add those because those take a little while to cook. And now that our cook time is winding down, we can add our garlic safely, and we can add our chili peppers safely, so they won't put out too much heat because they won't have that much time to cook. I want to add that in traditional Maque Choux, bell peppers are a key ingredient. Unfortunately, my wife is allergic to bell peppers and hates them in any form, so in the interest of happy wife, happy life, there will be no bell peppers on this fine Tuesday or maybe Thursday, could be Sunday, might be Wednesday afternoon. Alright, so the shrimp is more than halfway cooked, as you can see. Well, almost halfway, like that piece is cooked. It's coming together nicely. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add our liquid here. And in the interest of making life easy, we have a strainer, we have a liquid, Ladies and gentlemen, we have a sauce. And I'm going to want to use this strainer again for my lemon. Let's go like that. Now let's bring that up to heat, which it already is because that stock was nearly boiling. I love combining flavors such as New Orleans and Southeast Asian, where the flavors really go together as many of the ingredients are the same. Next thing we're going to do, folks, is we're going to take our coconut cream here. Because we've added the curry, again, this would not be traditional in regular Maque Choux, but because we're of the Southeast Asian persuasion and we got some nice curry paste in there, we're going to hit this with a little bit of coconut cream. Now, if you can't get coconut cream at your local grocery store, you can buy coconut milk and put it in the fridge, and the cream will rise to the top, as cream tends to do. Give a nice stir around. All right, let's give this a little taste. I'm checking for acidity and sweetness. It's very good. I'm surprised I'm doing this, but many curries of Southeast Asian cuisine, they want to put a little bit of sugar in. I didn't think I would need to because of the shrimp and the corn, but I really feel like this wants just a little bit of sugar. Now, in traditional Asian cooking, that would be palm sugar, but you know, any port in a storm. Next thing that we're going to add, by the way, I'm going to turn my stove off now. Even though we still want heat, this thing stays hot for a while. We want a little bit of acidity, brighten that up. So we're going to give that a nice little squeeze of lemon. And then, last but not least, in most Asian cooking, fish sauce is used for salt as a final seasoning. We had Thai food the other night, so here I have some fish sauce with chilies. So I'm just going to do a little dab like that. And last but not least, for color and for flavor, my green onions. Green onions, I really don't like to cook very much. I like them mostly for color. Have a stir. Rinse my spoon, because I can't remember if I used it or not. That's the stuff dreams are made of. Last night, Marcy and I had some Thai food that came with rice, so I have a little bit of rice in the bottom of our bowl. Yeah, nice corn, nice shrimp, bit of sauce. And that is how you make a very bastardized version of Southeast Asian Maque Choux.
Okay, so I'm the wife. I'm the one who gets to benefit from marrying a chef. And so here I am going to give this Maque Choux, which I never even heard about before a couple weeks ago. I'm going to give it a try. Might be a little hot temperature-wise, but I'll start with the corn because that's my favorite thing. Oh my God, super crunchy. I like the corn in big chunks. As Evan said earlier, we have come to calling them corn clusters as a technique here. And I gotta try the shrimp next.
Don't miss the sauce.
I won't miss the sauce. Oh my God. He just knows the perfect timing. It's perfectly cooked. It is definitely hot, as in spicy hot, but not extreme in any way, because I'm a bit of a lightweight with heat, but it's a very light heat that kind of coats your mouth. And now I'm gonna work on the sauce a little bit more here. Mix the rice in, get a little kind of multi-bite. Oh, I see. See, I'm not gonna eat this little chili pepper. That's not my game. All right. Oh my God, I'm so lucky. Oh, you should make this at home. It's really amazing.
And now it's my turn. I'm not going to do all the wax so poetic. I'm just going to crack a nice cold beer, which is what you do. And thank you very much for joining Chef Evan Presents at Dining During a Pandemic. Cheers.